Girls, because يعني previous week we took also SAT, so I uploaded for you the online assignment for I created the online assignment for the writing. Okay, so don't forget. You hear me, 11 or what?
Yes, miss.
Miss
Are
Nada.
there 13 topics?
Nada.
Yes, Huda, you're here. Yeah.
Yes, my mic now worked. Okay.
It's okay, dear. Yes, Noor, what were you asking?
Miss, is there 13 topics? For
No. I wrote for you in the assignment what you have to write, that the topic should be debatable and introduction, conclusion, three bodies, the counterclaim, your claim, supporting reasons. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Before we start, or let's start, and then I take your questions. I'll share the PowerPoint. Previous time, girls, we talked about the SAT and what is the form of it and the kind of passages. We talked about the timing and we started with the reading section. We talked about the kind of passages, okay, and the type of questions, the big detail, main idea, the details, inference, vocabulary and context, function, author technique, evidence support, data interpretation, and then we look here again, the main focus here, here details from line this to line this, here the narrator's technique, here support, evidence support to the previous question, here make an infer from the text, here textual support also, or evidence support from the text. Here we stopped here, guys. We discussed this the last time we talked, right? So here we stopped here. How can I study for SAT? What do I do for SAT? So, girls, before we move on, how do you study for SAT, girls? Listen, before I move on, and I want to know who takes the SAT. I want to write your names.
Me, teacher.
Wait a minute. Yes.
Miss, you can ask the girls who are not willing to take the SAT.
Yes, I'll ask one by one, okay? Here,
Miss,
Ahed?
your voice is lagging.
Okay, Ahed, do you take SAT, Ahed?
No, teacher.
Okay. Arwa?
No.
Aya? Hisham?
Yeah.
You
Miss,
take
I
SAT.
already took SAT twice. I won't take it again.
You will not take SAT one again? You got a good mark?
Yeah.
What was it?
The first time I got 1450, the second time 1550.
Good. Okay. Aya Benjak? Batul?
Yes, miss.
Aya, do you take SAT?
Miss, I didn't hear what?
You take SAT test, SAT test?
No.
Okay, Batul? Budur? Budur, where were you previous period, ya Budur? Dima?
Teacher, I'm not taking SAT 1.
Only SAT 2. So also Dima, SAT 2. 2, and Aya will take SAT 1 and 2. Harir? Ghala?
Yes, teacher.
You take SAT 1 and 2?
No, I'm gonna take SAT 1.
You will take SAT 1. Okay. Harir? No. هدى. No. Judy. Layal. Yes, Judy, you will take.
Yeah.
Layal. Lin الحاج. Lin and Serene said 2 only, right? Lin or Serene, anyone replies me?
Yes, teacher,
Lin.
they're only taking SAT 2. Like me.
Yes. Lin Motor,
Yes, teacher.
you take SAT.
No, teacher. I'm gonna take TOEFL.
TOEFL, okay. Linda?
Yes, inshallah.
Yes. 1 and 2, Linda?
No, only one.
Only 1? Why not take 2? How?
I don't know. I'm still thinking about it.
Okay. Lujain?
Yes, miss. I'm gonna take it. Both SAT and two.
Malak
Teacher, you called me?
Azzi, Malak, yes?
Teacher, you called me?
Yes, Lujain?
Layal.
Layal, I called you many times there, Layal.
Yeah, sorry, miss.
Where were you previous period?
No, teacher, my mic wasn't opening.
Okay. Malika, you take?
I'm preparing for SAT 1.
Okay. Malak الحاج?
Yes, miss. I will
You
take
take?
only SAT 2.
Okay. Maryam Muhammad?
Yes, miss. I'll be taking both, inshallah.
Okay. Maya? Nancy? Nirvana? Tell me.
Yeah, I told
Yes,
you
miss.
yes.
I'll do.
Miss, are you calling name?
Nancy, you take 2?
1,
Miss.
for now 1. I don't know about 2.
Okay. Maya? Nirvana? Nirvana?
Yes, teacher. Yes, teacher.
Uh-huh.
I'll take SAT. SAT 1 for
No.
now. I don't know what's.
Noor?
No, miss.
Raghav, not answering. Sarah?
Yes, teacher.
Sarah, you're here?
لا
Raghav, where were you previous period, ya Raghav?
with you.
No, ya Raghav. I called you many times and you didn't reply. You take SAT, ya Raghav?
ما أعرف. No.
Okay. Serene? Serena?
Miss, I started by SAT 2. If I finish it early, I'm gonna take 1.
Okay. Sham,
Teacher,
Khartoum?
I don't think I will take SAT 1.
Okay.
Yes,
Sham?
miss.
No, I
Yes,
won't.
miss.
Yes. Sham Aqil?
Yes, miss.
You'll take?
No.
Tia? What?
Teacher, maybe her mic is still not working for
What
Tia.
does she take?
I'll
I
take
don't-
that one. Yes.
Who's talking, Tia?
No, why?
Wad, you'll take that one?
Yeah.
1? You, yes or no?
Yes, miss.
Okay. Marine Shagdali?
No, miss.
Okay. Budur? And Tia, does Tia take girls or not? Tia, write in the chat or anything. Tell me.
She said no, maybe. Wait, she's typing. No, she's not gonna take Tia.
Okay. So, girls, before I continue, how do you study for SAT? Those who took or will take SAT for English, how do you study for it? How you studied for it,
Practice,
ya Aya, before the test? Aya Hisham, you are the only one who takes SAT 1. How did you study for reading section?
So I solve tests and I take
Yeah.
classes.
What did you do in the classes?
We solve tests also.
Also, yeah, it depends all solving. The more you solve, the more you be more.
Yeah.
بس آية, do you يعني have any techniques while solving ولا بس read the passage and solve the questions?
Yeah, and my teacher taught me some skills and know how to approach the questions.
Yeah.
Say them, ya Aya.
Because there are a lot, yani we divide, for example, the answer choices, yani so we don't get lost when we're reading. Also, for example, similar answers are usually, yani there's a higher percentage and they'll be right. What else? كمان إنه for example science passages and social science passages يعني usually there'll be an introduction, then a hypothesis for the experiment, then an experiment, then a result. So if they ask a question, for example, about the results, we search at the end of the passage.
So how do you divide the questions, ya Aya?
كمان when we start and usually in the beginning of the passage there's general questions, so we leave the general questions till the end because they're usually more difficult. After we solve the other questions with line citations, we will find them more easy.
Yes, because you will be aware with the whole passage, so you can determine what is the main idea of the passage.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, if we don't have time, we can skip reading the science and social science passages because they're organized. The first question will usually be at the beginning of the passage, the second كمان بعده بشوي. But like literature and history passages, we have to read them.
Yes. How do you divide the questions?
We divide the answer choices into bits so we don't get confused. وكمان also is that we don't know the meaning of a word, we just ignore it and base our choice based on the rest of the answer choice.
Yes, and what else? So girls, are you with Aya or not?
Yes, but I missed when she said the science passages. How are the order? Introduction, hypothesis, experiment, hypothesis?
No, introduction, hypothesis, experiment, بعدين results, and sometimes they at the end they would include the opinion of other scientists مثلا in the experiment.
Okay, thank you.
What else, Aya?
Also, there's a few important vocab for the SAT, but they're not usually beneficial. I don't know. Sometimes in the vocab questions, the answer is not really the meaning of the word. It depends on the context.
Mm-hmm. So how did you solve it?
So we read the sentence and ignore the vocab word, and we don't think about the meaning of the word, its literal meaning. We think about the meaning of the word in the sentence.
Okay.
Also, in vocab words, there's a hack, and if two words mean the exact same thing in the choices, then they're probably wrong because otherwise there will be two answers.
This is good. This is good trick. So you have elimination is when you feel that like there are two
this is very
wrong
useful
answers.
in writing.
And yes, and in vocabulary, if there are two words the same meaning, the two are wrong. Okay, يعني high.
This is what I do in your tests, miss. I
Really?
ignore that.
You ignore that the same.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. What else, Aya? Who else girls took SAT 1?
Miss Sarah is also doing SAT 1, but I think she's sleeping. مش عارفة.
Okay.
No, miss, I'm here.
Sarah, you're here. Do you have any tricks or tips like Aya?
I have a lot.
Tell us so your mates will get benefit.
For reading test, I mean.
Yes, for reading, for writing.
Maybe similar answers. We keep them and we make بعد مقارنة بيناتهم. Like, so we see like which one is the best. Like شو اسمه. بس والله my English is so يعني trash.
The problem I can't hear you well, يا سارة.
Miss now I wake up now, so I'm
Just woke up now?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Sarah. So, Aya, do you have any other thing to add, dear?
Yes, I probably have, but I can't remember.
You wrote them down in a paper or a book or a copybook or something?
I used to have a book, but I don't know where I put it.
So no more SAT 1?
Yeah.
Okay. You plan to go to join college where, yes, Sarah? Yeah, Aya.
In Australia.
Oh, Australia.
Also, I'll probably travel next term. I think so. But I repeat grade 11 again. I'm depressed.
So why is Australia?
Because I don't know, my parents will travel because of the work, here عم بقلعوا كل الناس. So yeah, that's like.
Okay, so you may travel in the term?
Yeah, I think I'll travel. I'll finish this term, then I'll travel in December.
Oh. This is 100% sure or there is a possibility?
بس نحن we booked the tickets but they cancel a lot of flights. Well, there is a possibility بس المفروض إنه sure
Oh, this is the first time I know that. So you're leaving us?
Yeah, I miss you a lot.
I miss you too, yeah. But Australia is nice. It is so far away, right?
Yeah.
And you'll go in the middle of winter, in the highest peak of winter. But maybe you celebrate Christmas.
Here, winter in Australia, it's now summer, I guess.
Really? December? She'll travel in December?
Yes.
Summer?
Yeah.
Yes, the seasons
لكن
are
عكس فصولنا.
This is the first time I know. The first time I know. So in colleges they need SAT 1 and SAT 2?
No, I took SAT 1 and SAT 2 before before I knew that I'd travel. But I think كمان it helps in admission. But there they depend on the school marks of year 11 and 12.
The school marks only?
Yeah.
Really? How?
Miss Henna, they take finals in year 12 about all what they took in year 11 and 12, so it's أصلا hard it's more than enough.
So you'll take their marks there, not of your school here.
Yeah, when I will come to اللي هو admit على college, I will I'll give them my SAT marks, so also I'll give them اللي هو my final marks of year 12.
There in Australia, not in Saudi. That's it. Okay. I wish you luck, Aya, inshallah. And send us pictures from Australia.
Okay, inshallah.
Okay. So actually, as I said, there is no way to study. It's not a book that you'll take and then you have questions and then you solve the questions based on the text or on the book. So what is the way to approach SAT is to solve and solve and solve. That's it. Okay. So Nancy, please read this slide, Nancy.
Okay. How to study for SAT reading. Speed up your reading. With 5 passages and 52 questions in only 65 minutes, the reading section of the SAT asks you to cover a lot of ground and maintain focus for over an hour. Since you'll get the reading section in one big chunk, you're responsible for balancing your time among 5 passages. You'll have to read deeply yet efficiently and find that balance between working fast while still catching important details. Rather than trying to catch each and every word, For instance, you might pay most attention to the introduction, conclusion, and transitions between paragraphs and skim the rest. Other students find it helps them to read the questions first so they know what to look for.
So Aya, how did you divide your timing among the 5 passages?
So when I used to practice at home, I usually time myself, for example, 13 على كل passage. But sometimes some passages might take 9 minutes, but others will take 15, and it depends on the difficulty.
Yes, so girls, you have to speed up your reading by what? You read quickly. Okay, this is the next slide. But here he says to you, first, before anything, you have to know how to balance your time among 5 passages. You have 52 questions for 65 minutes, so approximately for each passage from 12 to 13 minutes. Okay, so when you start solving at home, you have to start solving timed. Okay, search for evidence, Nirvana.
Okay, search for evidence. The SAT is meant to test you on skills, not knowledge. You don't have to know anything about a topic before answering questions on it on the reading section. In fact, having pre-existing knowledge could even get in your way. Rather than asking you to recall facts and figures, the reading questions are entirely based on passages. As such, your answers should be based directly on the words in front of you. When you choose your answers, make sure that you can point to specific lines as evidence that your answer is the right one. The new evidence-based questions on the SAT are, in some sense, a blessing in disguise. They serve as a useful reminder that all of your answers should be based on the words in front of you. Evidence support questions explicitly ask you to provide the lines that served as the basis of your answer to a previous question.
So, girls, he says to you, he will test you in your skills, not in your knowledge. Test your skill, not your knowledge. A skill to know how the meaning of a familiar word, a skill to get the answer of the passage up based on the evidence. He says to you that all the answers are based directly on the words in front of you in the passage. You're not getting answers from outside. He will not ask you about scientific terms from outside the passage. Everything is written in the passage. And there is the evidence support question, which is the question that follows the main question. And he asks you, how did you know, or why did you pick this answer? He says it's a blessing. Why? Because it assures you that your answer here is wrong or correct. Some girls prefer to answer the evidence support question and then they go to the previous question. So they get to know the lines and then they get to know the idea. They are 2 questions related to each other. Here you answer, here he asks you why you pick this answer. Sometimes they pick why you pick this answer and they go to the previous question to ask the main question. Okay. Aya, do you have anything to add? And I'm sorry I asked you a lot today, but because you are the only one who passed through TESAT 1, so I'd like to hear your comments.
Miss?
Yes, Maya? Yes, Aya?
So, okay.
Anyone? Yeah, Maya say, Aya say. What do you want to say?
Miss, I was saying that there's also another type of questions, Libiji yes, yes, no, no question. And they give you like a sentence in the passage that is underlined, and then they ask you if shall we keep it in the passage?
It is in the writing section.
No, there's also in the reading too.
No, only in the writing section.
I'm sure you might.
But no, because I don't know, but no, they tell you
no, they are passages too, but in the writing section, I'm sure.
Yeah, they will ask you, will it interrupt the idea, or is it repeated, or like this?
Oh, okay. He asks you about the idea, the repeated idea in this. Okay.
I have a question for Aya though.
Yeah?
And how much do you take while reading the passage? Some people say don't take more than 5 minutes.
Aya?
Yeah. Yes, miss.
Yeah,
How much time do you take while reading the passage?
It depends. Some people like to spend more time reading the passage, less time on the questions. I personally prefer spending more time on the questions than on the passage. Yeah, I read the passage maybe in 3 minutes, then I move to the questions. I skim through the passage, I don't read it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Remember previous time when I said to you that there are lines questions? Yani in a passage, there is a technique. Girls prefer to do it, and other girls don't prefer to do it. They read the introduction, they read the conclusion, and then but each question, lined questions, they go directly for the lines, and they read two more lines before these lines and two more lines after these lines. So by the end of the questions, they would have been, or they would have finished the whole passage and get the main idea, which is basically it is question number 1.
I honestly think it depends on the passage. So if it's history, if it's literature. So for example, maybe with harder passages for some people, they can take some more time reading the passage so that they can answer the questions quickly and get them right. Because
Mariam,
most of these,
you took SAT tier 1?
yes, I took
great.
one.
Yes, so we can ask you too. So tell us your tips and tricks, Mariam.
Yeah, for divide your passages into the hard passages and the easier passages. The harder passages, especially ones that are detail-oriented, take more time to read them because they have a lot of details that can be hard to flip over between the question and the passage again. So instead of wasting time just flipping, take more time to read those, and ones that are easier, that don't have so much detail, maybe just read them quickly and just solve all of the questions.
Yes,
You solve the last passages and then the first ones.
So you have 5 passages. Which one you pick first?
It depends about what's easy for you. I personally advise you to start with the easy and not the hard, because the SAT is a test where you are trying to collect as much marks as possible. If I spend most of my time with what I see is hard, I can lose a lot of marks there and lose what I already know is easy. So try to collect the easy things and then leave the hard things for the rest. If you can get them right, that'll be cool. If not, it's fine.
Yes,
You got the
a lot
easy
of
ones
people
right.
told me about that. They said that you don't want to solve everything and you don't want to get everything correct. You just want to collect marks.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing about the SAT. And it's
Yeah.
not a normal quiz to solve. Yeah, okay.
Yes. Okay,
I don't actually stress too much about what to solve first. خلاص solve in order وبس.
Yes.
Miss, I have a trick too. In
How would I know which passage is the easier one?
Based on you.
I start with the science passages because they're the easiest. History is confusing.
Literature and science passages are the easiest most of the time.
Try with what's easy for you first, then go to what's hard for you.
Okay. And then we come to the process of elimination. Mariam, read it.
Miss, can I ask a question?
Yes, Maya.
Teacher, while solving the SAT طيب يعني when I want to يعني إنه مثلا يعني I heard of this trick but I'm not sure. For example, if this passage was so complicated and I want to solve its questions, when I leave it to the end and then come back and I don't know any answer, shall I just pick like a letter and just like put it all of them A C C C? يعني على الأقل I get like three or four correct.
No, don't do this. Don't do this.
No, it's because I heard like I heard this from a teacher that is teaching SAT. She said, if you don't know the answers and you feel that it's complicated, leave it to the end and then like choose the letter and make it like all of them because you might get 3 or 4 correct.
But I think it's very stupid because you cannot like guarantee anything from it.
Yeah, try just to guess.
Yes, this is what we are going to talk. طب يلا Mariam, read this. This is the answer يا Maya for you. This slide has an answer. Read يا Maya, يا Mariam.
Yes. While some questions will be easier than others, most have at least one answer that's obviously wrong. Using the process of elimination to zero in the most reasonable answer can be a helpful strategy in the reading section, especially in situations where you feel unsure. While some questions...
You have 4 choices, girls. I don't know the answer. Eliminate the 2. Eliminate 2 and be focused with the rest of the 2. Yes.
While some questions may feel subjective because they ask you to make an inference or evaluate an opinion, there will always be They will always only ever have 100% correct answer. All of the other answer choices, even if they seem reasonable upon first read, will be problematic in some way. If the right answer doesn't pop out to you right away, try to use process of elimination to look for the errors in logic. It should help you narrow down your choices at least by 1 or 2. If you really have no idea, or are you spending too much time on an answer, at that point you could at least make an educated guess. The right only scoring means that you won't lose any points with the wrong answer, so you have a better choice of upping your score than you would if you have left it blank.
Yes, so don't leave a question blank, ya Maya. Yes, we agree on this part. But when you find a question and this question is hard, try to eliminate 2, okay? And focus on 2. And then you don't know the answer, guess. But don't solve the whole passage the same answer. No, of course you'll find the question that you can answer in the passage. But if there is a very hard question, try to guess it. It's okay to guess sometimes. Okay? By luck. It is when you reach to the peak with no answer in your mind. Study multiple meaning words. Okay? Multiple meaning words. Linda, read it, ya Linda.
You will find words in context questions after every passage on the reading section. These questions ask you to define or give a synonym for a word from the passage. The catch: you have to understand how the word is being used in a specific line. All of the answer choices might be reasonable synonyms for the word under consideration. You need to understand the connotation of the word in the particular context. You won't encounter particularly obscure or high-level vocabulary terms. Instead, the words would be relatively common, but they will likely have different meanings in different contexts. You can prepare for these questions by studying relevant vocabulary list and sharpening your ability to divide the meaning of a word based on the context.
Yes, divide the word to prefix, suffix, and get the root word. Try to remember if you've heard it somewhere, maybe it gets you closer in the meaning, but the first important thing is the meaning of the word up to the text in the context clue. Like in the vocabulary, girls, what the meaning of the word in the context, in the text. Sometimes when we study a word in the vocabulary, he writes for me 3 meanings next to it. But here in the test, he will bring for you the 4 meanings. 3 of them are correct. 4 of them are correct. You have to pick the one that matches in the text. Okay? Brush up on literary terms. This is also important. Lujain, read ya, Lujain. Quickly, girls.
While you won't encounter a ton of high-level literary terminology, again, the reading section is meant to test skills, not knowledge or memorization. You should be familiar with the basics. Review key terms like style, tone, attitude, and theme.
Yes, he will ask you about the tone of the author and specific things in the style of the author. Okay, continue.
Even more importantly, make sure you understand how to describe those parts of a work of prose or nonfiction. To answer these types of questions, you need to be able to pick up on the theme, central argument, or overall tone of a piece of writing.
So all of that depends on what? Understanding literature and writing. Literature and writing. Okay, practice data interpretation. Okay, Malika, read ya, Malika. Hurry up, girls, because I want to finish it.
Practice data interpretation. One or more of the passage will be accompanied by a graphic. You will be asked to interpret data from a graph, chart, or table. You might get a bar graph, line graph, a scatter plot, pie chart, or table, and you will need to know how to read it. You do not need existing knowledge, but rather the ability to comprehend information before you. You will find this data interpretation question on College Board official test in Khan Academy online program. You will also find them in prep materials from books or prep scholar online program. If you feel like you are running low on materials, you might try practicing with ACT science questions. This will all present scientific data, but they will give you practice interpreting data from graphics and relating it to accompanying passage. In fact, this skill will help you on the entire SAT, as you will find data interpretation questions on the reading, writing, and math section.
So these girls, when I upload for you the PowerPoint, you go click on this. You have to show. You should have an account on Khan Academy. Of course, this is the first step in SAT. Books, okay, and here preschoolers online program. These are active links. You pick on it, you click on it, and it opens with you the sites. Okay, you should have an account on Khan Academy again, and College Board official practice tests. You have to solve to get good marks in SAT. You solve more SAT tests. That's the only advice. Okay, this is the only thing.
Mass?
Yes.
Miss, do we have to study from SAT books? Because they talk too much. There's so much هذا writings يعني.
What SAT books? They write what?
The College
You mean
Board.
the introduction and this?
Yes, there's too much talking.
No, you can. If you want more, you can. If we have more, in yani, let's finish the new writing topic, because we took 2 periods of writing. Then we finish, and then we start get into more details. And this is, I give you the outlines of the SAT. Let's get into more details, but after we finish the current writing topic. And let's take writing for 3 weeks, and then I give you. We get to know more, but no, do not go into deep details. Solve. But what will benefit you? What benefits you? The tips and tricks. The tips and tricks, like Aya said, like Sarah said, like Mariam said, are very important.
Teacher, some SAT books actually give you tips and techniques.
Yes.
Like not all of them are useful. I advise you to start Erica Meltzer's books. They are very useful.
Write it for them on the group, dear.
I can send it to them a PDF. No
on the group, please. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, dear. So why? Because this the tips and tricks and techniques. This is the key. This is the key, because even if you don't know the answer, you know how the question is formed, how the choices are applied, so you can pick one. Okay. Yalla girls, see you. Yalla go. Have your break. See you on Sunday. Bye, girls.
Bye, teacher.
Bye, sweethearts. Have a nice weekend.
Bye, teacher.
Bye.